Hello everyone. Today I wanted to come on here to talk about energetic cleansing and energetic purification, mostly as a follow-up to a video I uploaded a few days ago, a video about energetic protection, which you can see right here. And I wanted to start off by talking about something that happened recently. Given the nature of my work, the work that I do with my clients, I give myself energy work on a pretty consistent basis. And the other day I was clearing out some of my chakras, as I usually do, and I noticed that in my sacral chakra there was an attachment. There was an attachment that kind of looked like a pitchfork, like a pitchfork trying to pierce my chakra, get into my chakra. And when I noticed it, I immediately removed it. Upon removing it, I sensed that it had the consistency of paper. It was very delicate, very flimsy, fragile. And to me, that's a sign that it's ritual work that's done incorrectly, ritual work that's not very powerful. It's also a sign that maybe the person that performed that ritual didn't do it very well or doesn't have much power. So I removed it. I wasn't too concerned about it. It wasn't a very strong ritual or spell. But then the days following the energy cleansing, I did a few purification rituals to make sure that nothing lingered. While I was doing these rituals, I thought, why keep this to myself? Why not share it with others? Why not spread the word on these different practices? Because there's no need to gatekeep any of this. In fact, I think that when it comes to these practices, we should be aware of them. We should know how to do them so as to not rely on others. So today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be sharing some of my practices to help you if you feel that you need to clear and cleanse your energy field. So before we dive into some of the ways that I clear and cleanse my energy field, I want to talk about why it's important to clear and cleanse ourselves in the first place. So whatever happens on an energetic level will reflect itself on a physical level. Personally, I've noticed that we'll see symptoms physically in our body, emotionally, mentally, but then in our external reality. To give you an example, let's talk about one of my clients. One of my clients has been experiencing severe migraines, ear infections, a lot of neck and shoulder tension. She's talked a lot about mental sluggishness, mental fog, just feeling very disconnected, very dazed. And she hasn't been able to find relief through the help she gets with her doctor, the help that she gets with her chiropractor, her acupuncturist. And we did a bit of healing work and clearing work on the energy around her head. We noticed that there was a lot of energy accumulating in her crown chakra. And once we fully cleared everything out, all of those symptoms that I mentioned went away. The very interesting and curious thing is that, along with the physical symptoms going away, she noticed that certain people began to distance themselves, certain toxic acquaintances, certain bullies at work, certain people that she actively avoids began to actively avoid her. So we noticed that there was a shift in her external reality, which we didn't really expect. That's one example of how we can see the internal energetic shift express itself on a physical level. I'm going to make a video about this in the future because it's such a context specific thing and it's something that deserves a proper video, but that's one example to give you guys. So I want to share some of the things that I do to clear my energy field, and I want to go ahead and start off with my favorite one. So my favorite energetic cleansing method, which is very simple and probably using something that we all have in our fridge. So one of my most favorite methods to use and one of the most effective methods that I use is the use of an egg. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using an egg to suck all the negative energy out of our field and into the egg, like a little miniature vacuum situation. But this is how it's done. So you'll need an egg, but along with the egg, you're going to need a glass and a small plate. So what you're going to do is just, we're not going to do this here, but what you're going to do at home is you're going to fill this glass about 3/4 of the way up with water. And on the plate around the glass, you're going to make a circle of chamomile and sea salt. We're going to be practical here and take note that if you don't have chamomile, just use the salt. If you don't have salt, use the chamomile. And we don't need to make this extra complicated. You can use chamomile from a tea bag. Any sort of simple chamomile tea bag will do. So once you have this 3/4 of the way up with water, with the salt and the chamomile, you'll set it aside. And what you're going to do is you're going to get the egg and you're going to be rubbing and sweeping the egg downwards from the top of the head all the way down your body. You're going to be placing special attention on the back of the neck, the back of the head, because that's where most of the attachments, where the spirit attachments, the astral attachments, emotional attachments tend to cling on. It's one of the most vulnerable parts of our body, energetically speaking. So you're going to be placing special attention on that, sweeping it downward. It's difficult to reach every area of your back, but do your best. Try to reach as far back as you can. No need to get every nook and cranny there, just do your best. So you're going to go sweeping downwards. You're going to be rubbing it on the bottoms of your feet. You're going to be rubbing it on the palms of your hands. And then to wrap everything up, you're going to make 13 T's or 13 crosses on the top of your head, third eye, heart center, both shoulders, both elbow bends, both wrists, and then you're going to go down and do a cross on both knees, both ankles. And the final step is you bring it up to your mouth, take a deep breath in, and then blow out all the remaining negative energy that you feel and sense on yourself into the egg. So I like to do that 3 times. So just deep breathe in, breathe it out, let it out into the egg. And once you've done that, you're going to crack the egg into your glass. You're gonna crack it in, throw the eggshells in the trash. So then you're gonna take the glass and the plates over to your toilet, throw it in the toilet, throw the salt and the chamomile in the toilet as well, flush it away, and you're done. You're cleared and cleansed. Afterwards, I'd recommend washing this with dish soap with some sea salt. I highly recommend, if you're gonna make this a weekly practice, which is recommendable once a week, to use the same glass for this practice every single time. Don't use it for anything else, because you run the risk of contaminating other people with any energy that you might have picked up or cleared away from yourself. So always have one glass and one plate for this specific purpose, and keep it for that from now on. So the egg cleanse is one of those things that you could do yourself. I do it for others, and when I do it for my clients or my community, we also read the egg. There's often symbols that appear on the yolk, or there's figures. Sometimes the bubbles, the strands tell us messages, tell us what's going on with the person. That's a whole other thing in itself, something that I'll talk about later. But if you're doing it for yourself, no need to think or worry too much about what's in the egg. Just throw it away, clear and cleanse yourself. But something for a video that I might make in the future. Aside from the egg cleanse, something that we could do is spiritual baths. So spiritual baths are really great because not only do they purify and cleanse the energy field in such a effective yet soothing way, but it's a very relaxing and really soothing form of self-care. So one really easy spiritual bath that we can all do is a sea salt or a pink Himalayan salt bath. And what you would do is just fill up your bath with warm water, get 2 hefty handfuls of either sea salt or pink Himalayan salt, dissolve it, let it fully dissolve, and then step into the tub, soak in it for a minimum of 30 minutes. And while you're in the tub, make sure to pour some of it on that vulnerable part, the back of the head, back of the neck region. Make sure to every so often pour some of that water back there. So after the 30 minutes, you can get up, let the water go down the drain. You can shower as you normally would, and that's it. You know, it's as simple as that. It's a very simple ritual. Sea salt baths and pink Himalayan salt baths are a very gentle, very soft way to remove negative energy. I believe that if we want to go deeper, if we want to do more heavy duty cleansing, we'll have to use herbs. One thing about salt is that you want to make sure that it's natural salt, sea salt, rock salts like pink Himalayan salt, and not table salt. Table salt, if you ask me, has 0 spiritual properties, 0 spiritual benefit. Might as well be bathing with mud. So I don't recommend it. So make sure that it is sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. So if we're going to talk about herbs, some herbs that I use are rosemary. And rosemary is really great because it purifies, it provides protection from further attack or further energy clinging onto you. It also welcomes in blessings. It's an herb that infuses an energy into our aura that attracts those positive moments, those blessed moments. It's a really great herb for when we feel that we're entering a streak of bad luck or like we're just getting into a rut. Things aren't going our way. Speaking of which, eucalyptus is another great herb. It purifies, but it also opens the road. In the same way that eucalyptus opens up the nasal passages with that fresh scent, the way it opens up the pores, it opens up your path, it opens up your road. It's an abre camino sort of herb. So this is great for whenever we're feeling stuck, whenever we're feeling stagnation. It can be great when you're about to embark on a new project, when you're about to start something that involves achievement of goals, or maybe pushback might happen, or maybe there might be resistance. It's just to facilitate that from not affecting you as much. This is a great thing for when you're about to ask your boss for a promotion, or when you're about to start a fitness plan or a weight loss plan, for example. Another great herb is basil, believe it or not. So basil is really great because it purifies, but I find that it brings blessings in the form of financial blessings. It brings in positivity, it brings in abundance. It's for those of us that want a little bit more of a boost with money, with finances. For any sort of work, any sort of ritual, any sort of black magic, hexes, jinxes that are being thrown our way, I would recommend using rue. So, rue is a very effective herb at removing any sort of energy, ritual, or work that's intentionally directed at us, as well as unintentionally directed at us. It's great for removing the evil eye or any sort of jealousy or envy that people might throw our way. It's almost like the spiritual bleach. I like to call it the spiritual bleach because it's so good at removing things. It's just burns those negative things away. And then another herb that does a similar action to rue, if you can't find rue, you can use sage. And sage, as in cooking sage, the sage you find in your spice rack at the supermarket. We're not using white sage, by the way. That's another thing in itself. We're going to be talking about that in a few moments. So these are some of the herbs that I like to use for overall general cleansing. Keep in mind that you can mix and match. You can use 2 herbs at the same time, 3 herbs at the same time, all depending on what you need. A lot of people ask me, what do I do if I don't have a bathtub? So you can use a bucket and you can just fill it with water and then use the infusion of the herbs thrown in, and you're set. You just get a cup or a glass and pour that over yourself in the shower. And it's as easy as that. It's just as long as you're covering your entire body with that solution, you're good. A lot of people ask me also, how do I use the herbs? Personally, I make a tea out of these herbs, and all my measurements are with handfuls. So 2 hefty handfuls of whatever herb you're going to use. Let it simmer, let it fully infuse, and then you want to strain it, let it cool off, throw it into your bath water, and that's it. It's a very simple process. I don't recommend throwing the herbs into the bathtub or into your bucket. It's the plumbing situation that we get afterwards. It's a nightmare, so I don't recommend that. So, uh, keeping in mind here that with spiritual baths, one off, just when doing it once is not enough. I highly recommend that you do it either 3 nights in a row, 3 days in a row, I'm sorry, or for extra special, extra strength situations. Let's say you're really charged, I would say 7 consecutive days in a row. Personally, I've noticed that every single time my clients or myself do a bath for 3 nights in a row, there is a noticeable shift. You feel it on an energetic level, you notice it in your external reality. It's something that you can notice almost right away. It's really interesting to see what happens when you do these baths and how the shift shows up. So it's work that you can see. It's work that has a noticeable effect. So let's talk about smoke cleanses or smudges. And I keep it simple. I like to use 2 main things in my practice, and that's Palo Santo and Copal. So Palo Santo looks like this. This has been used, obviously. I use it quite frequently. What Palo Santo does is that it lifts away the negative energy or the heavy energy that's in our energy fields, and then it infuses the energy field with a peaceful, calming, soothing energy. It's a very relaxing quality that it brings in. Palo Santo also has the quality of calling in the ancestors, calling in spirit guides, and I have the feeling that that's to offer protection. After it's cleansed you, ancestors come in, spirit guides come in, so that that energy doesn't come back. It's also great to facilitate and clear the channel of communication. It makes it easier to hear the ancestors, to hear their messages. Copal does the same thing, but I noticed that Copal has a more invigorating quality to it. It's very spicy, it's a little bit stimulating. I find that it helps inspire forward movement. Copal is also a great offering to the gods, specifically the Mayan or the Aztec gods. And the Aztecs used to refer to it as food for the gods. Nowadays, people might give it as an offering to Guadalupe or Tonantzin. They might give it to Santa Muerte, to San Simon. You know, all these different folk saints are often given copal as an offering. Now, for work, if someone is doing ritual work on you, or they're doing psychic attack or some sort of cursing, personally, I think that myrrh is really effective. Myrrh is a really great thing to remove that energy. It's a really hot sort of resin. It just clears things away so efficiently, and it leaves a very almost citrusy smell, like a very warm, orangey, citrusy smell, at least for me. But it's a really nice and effective resin that you can find anywhere. It's a very common incense to be found. Another equally hot, equally fire incense is dragon's blood. So dragon's blood also removes negative energy. It does it in a very swift, hot, and quick way. The great thing about dragon's blood is that it can be used to amplify work. Let's assume you're doing a money spell. If you light dragon's blood, it's going to amplify the energy of the spell, and it's going to help it manifest quicker and more efficiently. So use dragon's blood to amplify any work that you'd like to really manifest quickly and effectively. Give it that extra boost. So I want to talk about white sage. I've noticed that in a lot of spiritual supply stores, you see bundles of white sage. There's all this talk about how white sage purifies, it clears, it cleanses. But personally, I want to recommend that we stay away from white sage. White sage, to my knowledge and from what I've heard and been told by the practitioners themselves, it is a medicine only used for Native Americans. You know, the way that they use white sage, the way they tune into the essence in the white sage is very specific. When someone uses it just as a regular incense, as a regular cleansing tool, they don't get the same effect. A lot of people say that white sage removes both the positive and the negative, but when it's used correctly, it shouldn't be doing that. So I think that there's a whole topic around cultural appropriation going on here. That's another topic in itself, but I would recommend that we stay clear and not use white sage. There are so many other options like the ones that I just listed. There are so many other things we could use that would actually help us and give us what we need, rather than using this herb that doesn't belong to us, to most of us at least. My final tip, and this is something that can be used after you've experienced something that left you with a bit of a heavy energy. Assume that you just got out of an argument, or you've had a really rough day at work, or you've just been in the presence of really negative people. But what you want to do here is you want to use the violet flame and the white flame to wipe off any residual energy. And what you do here is you just close your eyes, or even have your eyes open, whatever you feel is comfortable, and imagine yourself inside a very large violet fire. Watch this fire and feel this fire consuming you from head to toe. Feel it billowing and building and wafting all around you. And visualize it burning away any energy that's on you that you feel doesn't belong to you. Any tension in your shoulders, tension in your chest, watch it being burned away by the violet flame. What you can also do is you can mentally or even verbally state what you want to give away to the violet flame that doesn't serve you. So anything that you feel that you're holding on to that you just want to release, give it away to the violet flame. You know, once you've sensed that it's done its work, that it's cleared away what it needs to clear away, visualize the violet flame going away and dissipating, and the white flame taking over. So the white flame is going to just rinse away any residual energy and just feel it washing it away, almost like the rinse cycle at a car wash, just like washing everything that's left behind. Keep in mind that this energy sweep using these flames is the equivalent of using a towel to wipe off dirt. Of course, it's going to clear away a lot of gunk and a lot of mess, but it won't clear away everything like a proper shower, a proper spiritual bath. So these methods that I just shared with you guys are some of the ones that I use on a daily or on a weekly basis. I would like to know in the comment section if you guys have used some of these methods. I'd like to know if any of you guys feel anything after using them or if you've noticed anything after using them. But I'd also be curious to know what you guys do for yourselves. What do you do in your practice that I didn't list in this video? I hope that you found this video useful. I hope that it inspired you to have a proper, energetic, hygienic routine. And I hope that you guys benefit from all these different practices. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to give me a like, a follow, and to share this video with others. And stay tuned next week for a new video on a similar topic. Have a great week.